Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. The business of sports, it is big business, and perhaps no other city has leveraged sports in a more significant way than Indianapolis. From Final Fours to the Super Bowl to Olympic trials, sports has driven economic impact and quality of life and a global image for a city once known as India No Place. Now city leaders are looking ahead, coming up with a plan to keep Indiana in the game.
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble right here to Indianapolis.
This week, more than 4 decades after launching an ambitious effort to become a sports capital, the Indiana Sports Corporation unveiled what's next in a 25-year strategic vision with the lofty goal of becoming the women's sports capital of the world and the global epicenter of sports.
To showcase our wonderful city and our state, and to do it through our sports strategy.
The impact of sport on Indianapolis is undeniable, to the tune of $3.3 billion in direct spending and nearly 10,000 jobs, nearly 3% of the metro economy, according to the IU Public Policy Institute. But an industry that Indy helped build is now an increasingly crowded field.
The original sports strategy, we're 40 years plus into this, and we see the results now. They've been tremendous. But the world's catching up, right? You see Las Vegas, Miami, the Middle East. So if we've got to go beyond best practices in the way we've always done it, to next practices to see what's next, what's new, this is the time for us to again lead the way.
Vision 2050 is the result of more than 2 years of discussions and interviews around the state and nation about the next chapter of a sports strategy that has put Indy and Indiana on the map. It's a 5-pronged approach to continue to attract big-time events, but also create global centers for sports tech, academia, business leadership, and women's sports.
We want to be the place where students go to be educated in all things sport. Sport law, sport medicine, sport education, where tech companies come to be a hub and really the Silicon Valley of sport right here, and it's already started. Where sport organizations like the NCAA say that's where we want our headquarters, because then we know events follow. So we want to continue with the events, but we want to build these pillars around it.
Events is still our keystone. It's going to be the thing that we always go after. It's the kind of the open door that gets us to all this other things. But that's really, we're going to move from this economic impact where we're always thinking about heads on beds to economic development. How do we get people to visit, but then how do we get them to stay? How do they build a business here? How do they build a family here? How do they hire employees here? How do they put all their wealth back into Indiana? We continue to grow Indiana.
What will it take to make this a winning strategy? Those who help put the vision together say feedback from around the country provides a clue.
We had stakeholders ranging from South Bend to, again, all of central Indiana to Evansville and across the country, that we interviewed over 125 organizations and entities at all levels. The NBA, college football playoffs, other governing bodies. And the findings were interesting. They all universally recognize we are a leader in hosting top-class sporting events. Where they thought we could do better is in telling our story and thumping our chest a little bit more. There's a little bit of the Hoosier humility. Lose that because you do great things, but you need to tell the world you're doing great things.
An ambitious vision indeed. And it's not just central Indiana looking to score big bucks through sports. Take South Bend, for example, where work began this week at Four Winds Field. This is a development that has helped transform that portion of South Bend. Work on a $48 million renovation of Four Winds Field. It's the home to the South Bend Cubs, the second smallest stadium in baseball's Midwest League, about to become the biggest. Updates include doubling the seating capacity, adding new buildings around the park. The goal is to have 10,000 seats at Four Winds Field by 2026.